Hello everyone, welcome to the newest episode of The Bearded Gamer Show. As always, I'm your host, The Bearded Gamer. Yeah, looking good, getting a little long. I like it that way. Chris Arnone. All right guys, straight into good news, bad news. First up is some good news. The DICE Summit has just occurred, and of course they had, as part of that, the Interactive Achievement Awards, and I've got some news for you on some of the big winners. Now, tied for second, a couple big games, awesome games that came in with 3 awards apiece. Uncharted 3 brought in Best Animation, Best Art Direction, and Best Visual Engineering. Portal 2 brought in Best Character Performance, that was Wheatley, Best Music, and Best Connectivity. But the big winner, of course, you could probably guess it, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim brought in 5 awards, all right? It got their Game of the Year, Best RPG, Best Story, Best Engineering, and Excellence in Direction. It's just, really did well. But all 3 of those games, fantastic. 3 of my favorites of last year, and glad to see them all getting recognized by the industry itself. I mean, these are the most prestigious awards that industry has, so good on them. All right, some bad news. Now, it seems Blizzard is now going after Valve over the rights to Dota. Valve has recently tried to register the trademark for Dota because they're making Dota 2. Well, Blizzard apparently has never actually tried to trademark Dota. Defense of the Ancients, what they're talking about, was a mod based on Warcraft 3, and so it's belonged to the community, and they have done some work, like they're getting ready and working on a Blizzard Dota that's officially being created by Blizzard, but they still never bothered to actually trademark the name, and now Valve is trying to do so. And personally, I think that's kind of crappy on Valve's part. This is sort of something that belongs to the community, any community, the gaming community as a whole. It's not something that I think they need to go after like this. Or maybe, Valve should have talked with Blizzard about, trying to create something that's shared or something. It just sucks to see 2, big behemoths of gaming, great companies, at odds with something like this right now. I just hate to see that, so that kind of sucks. All right, some just straight news. I bet you're wondering, offhand, how many people are really playing Call of Duty? How huge is this? All right. Well, some numbers have come out from Activision looking at the total number of people who play Call of Duty online. 40 million monthly players. Now, this is across all their titles. About half of that currently is Modern Warfare 3. In fact, Xbox was saying their number 1, number 2, and number 3 games for last month, as far as online or total playtime, were all Call of Duty games. It's huge. Now, here's some funny little statistics. 40 million people. That would make it the 32nd largest country in the world just by population. It would make it bigger than countries such as Poland, Iraq, and Canada. Just people who play Call of Duty. Now, they said there are about 7 million registered users of Call of Duty Elite, and about 1.5 million of those are, in fact, annual pay subscribers. So that's just... It's kind of mind-blowing how big that franchise is. We like to talk about how World of Warcraft is probably one of the biggest franchises, $15 a month, something like, 10, 11 million people, but here you're talking $60 a year for 40 million people. Wow, it's huge. It's huge. Anyway, okay. Some more just news. Sony has put out a list of 275 PSP games that will be available through the PlayStation Network, or I guess it's Sony Entertainment Network, for download on your PlayStation Vita when the Vita launches. And that's cool, and I already talked about how the Passport program won't be there, so it's good that there's, a pretty big chunk of games that will be available. But I did notice a couple things, a couple big key titles missing, for instance. Now, there's a lot more than this, but both Little Big Planet and Mod Nation Racers were not on that list, which is kind of weird, kind of spooky, but I also know, there is a Little Big Planet and a Mod Nation Racers coming out specifically for the Vita. So I wonder if this was just, for some reason there was an incompatibility, or there's a little more strategy to this, going, well, you could just go and download the cheaper version off PlayStation Network, or you could go buy this brand new one that we just made with better graphics. I hate to say which way I kind of think it probably is, because I might be wrong, and I hate to think so badly of anyone that they would do something like that, but you never know. All right, so that's lukewarm. 275 games, good. Missing those 2, that kind of sucks. All right, finish up with some more good news. Now, how much money do you think a game studio could raise through Kickstarter. Now, Kickstarter, for those who don't know, is a website where people can bring to this website any project that they want to undertake. And using Kickstarter can essentially try to raise funds. People will donate money to your Kickstarter project to help you get it off the ground. Well, Double Fine got on there with this new adventure game they want to make, and they said, we need a minimum of $400,000. They got that within 8 hours. Within 24 hours, they had doubled it. By the time I took this image, as you see, they more than tripled it. More than $1.3 million raised for this new project. This shatters any previous Kickstarter records. It's huge, and it's very exciting. Double Fine has made some really cool games, and it's great to see them getting some independent financing to make the next game. And they've actually come out and said that this excess funds will be used to help put this new adventure game on more platforms than what they were originally planning. So that's fantastic. I'm going to be curious to see how many more game companies, maybe some indie developers, decide to use Kickstarter to get their projects off the ground. It could really do some amazing, amazing things. All right, enough with the news. I know you want to know what were the good and bad games that were reviewed this last week. Time to find out in Reviews Roundup. Welcome to the newest Reviews Roundup, powered by Gamer Review. First up this week is Grand Slam Tennis making its debut on HD consoles with Grand Slam Tennis 2 for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Craig Snow grabbed his racket for this game and said, "If it has one, then Grand Slam Tennis 2's Achilles heel is its gameplay, which lags behind what the competition already offers. But Grand Slam Tennis 2 is a good first entry in the series on HD platforms, putting EA Sports' acquisition of key licenses to stellar use. The commentary and analysis provided by Pat Cash and John McEnroe, among the sport's most legendary and well-respected figures, is nothing short of a superb innovation for the game, though one with plenty of room left for improvement going forward." Craig gave Grand Slam Tennis 2 a 7.4 out of 10. Next, Nick Pantazis dug into the long-awaited collaboration of R.A. Salvatore, Todd McFarlane, and Kurt Schilling with Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. Nick said, "It's really tough to see a game like Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning because there's a great deal of potential wrapped around a number of major flaws. The combat system itself is absolutely excellent, and it alone makes the game fun to play. Unfortunately, a number of major issues, such as a dull world and plot, and major technical flaws damage the experience significantly. The game takes so few chances in its quests, settings, and story that really the only thing that it stands out at all is the combat. And although that's enough to make Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning a fun game, it can't make it a great one." Nick gave Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning a 7.5 out of 10. Next up, Matt Ashbaugh tackled the chance to be a limb-losing immortal character in Never Dead for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. He said, "Never Dead is a prime example of a game that has an excellent premise, but then suffocates it with bafflingly bad design choices. Gamers don't play games to be exhausted. We play them to have fun, and there are just too many moments in this game that feel like a chore. Do not buy this game. Do not rent this game. Do not look at this game. Do not associate with people who own this game. It is everything wrong with the action genre of games with a chocolate coating of pretty visuals. Let it fall into the bargain bin and fester there until end times." Matt gave Never Dead a 3.5 out of 10. Finally, one of the reviews you've been waiting for rears its head: Soul Calibur 5 for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Jake Weston grabbed his arsenal and tried not to stare too much at the bouncing cleavage and said, "Soul Calibur 5 doesn't reinvent the franchise, nor does it add any drastic new features. What it does, however, is refine the core mechanics to make this the most balanced, fun, and accessible Soul Calibur game yet. The plethora of fighters and amazing character customization make it incredibly easy to look past the sloppy storytelling and minor presentation issues. The Critical Edge system is a breath of fresh air, but it doesn't mask the decade-old mechanics growing stale. Don't let that hold you back if you're a fan of the series, though, as Soul Calibur 5 stands as an early contender for Best Fighting Game of the Year. This series may be starting to rust, but it's still got plenty of fight left in it." Jake gave Soul Calibur 5 a 7.8 out of 10.
Be sure to read the full reviews for these and many other games on gamerreview.vgcharts.com.
Rumors, rumors, rumors. I get so sick and tired of all these rumors. Now, one has recently come out through a magazine, so it tries to give it maybe a little more weight, that the Xbox 720, the next Xbox, will have a controller much like the Wii U's. That'll have this little screen in the middle. It'll be a standard controller with everything, but this little screen in the middle, which kind of would be a little unwieldy, I think. But you know that would be part of it. And you know, like I said last episode, the whole thing with blocking the used games. There's just all these rumors, and it's just enough already. Okay, you know, we're not going to be seeing either of these consoles at E3 this year. We're not going to see them this year, period. Which means we'll very much more likely be seeing stuff in 2013. We'll see some official announcements at E3, and we'll actually see the consoles, Lord knows when. If it's Microsoft, probably holiday 2013. Sony, if they're going to lag behind again, probably see it in Japan in holiday 2013, not till the next spring here in the North America and then in Europe. And it's just, I get so sick and tired of it. A lot of it is just so much conjecture, and it's so far off base. I mean, really, the Wii U took us all by surprise, took us all by storm. We had no idea. And you know, despite all the different rumors and possibilities, you know, they still surprised us. We knew there was a new console. Beyond that, we really didn't know that much. Things I can tell you definitively about the Xbox 720, it's going to use Kinect. It's going to use it a lot more. It's going to have more horsepower. Not that it's necessarily going to have better graphics, but it's just that it needs more horsepower to do more calculations. For instance, you know, the Kinect doesn't have a processor in it. They took that out in the final design. That's why your Kinect games can only look so good, because the processors, the triple-core processor in the 360s, having to do so much work just to process that input. That's some very complex input. And so I guarantee you, to fit the Kinect better, there's going to be more horsepower dedicated to the Kinect, in fact. But beyond that, you know, I know what they're trying to do right now in the 360, which they will certainly do in the next Xbox, will be to make it more of a whole family entertainment unit, not just a gaming platform, but a whole entertainment kind of thing. And that makes sense. It's a good move, and I think Sony is also pushing in a similar path. You know, they want to go in a similar place. You've got, you know, the Sony Entertainment Network and all that, but all these rumors about what the technology is going to be, what the horsepower is going to be, blah 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 blah, the mock-ups that you see online, it's all crap. It's all meaningless, and we get so hyped up and so involved in it when it really means nothing. You know, it's so far off right now that it's hard to say. I mean, some of these images could be leaks. They could be things that are actually happening. They could just be things that maybe they're kicking around. Maybe because they saw the Wii U, Microsoft is kicking around the whole idea of a touchscreen on the controller. Doesn't mean it'll fly in the final version. It's just, it's so impossible to say right now, but it's like, it's all we can talk about. You know what? I'd rather talk about things that are going on right now, games that are coming up, the Wii U itself. What horsepower is going to be in the Wii U? That's a bigger question. That's much closer on the horizon. That's what I want to know. Screw the 720 and the PS4. I want to know what the Wii U's capabilities are truly going to be. I've said this before. Is it the last console of the 7th generation or the first console of the 8th? That makes a huge difference in how successful it's going to be. So it's just, I know it's a soapbox and it's a rant and it's unpopular, but I just get so sick and tired of these darn rumors. Who cares? The rumors, they mean nothing, and we report them like they're gospel, and they go around on N4G and every other news site like it's a huge, huge deal. It's not, okay? Give me an announcement for a game I've never heard of, something that looks awesome. That'll be news. Not maybe there'll be a screen on my 720 controller. Honestly, I mean, that sounds ridiculous. That seems like it'd be really hard to play, but whatever. All right, guys, off my soapbox, done with this video. See you next time.